You want to tell us about what happened?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you guys have seen Uber services all around the field, and Coach Gonzalez gets a great kick out of it as well. So it's been a treat, but thanks to Lauren Vosser. Obviously, she's invaluable in our program, and somehow she found a way to Ubering me around practice. But as you guys have seen in previous practice, I'm usually the spotter in team fastball situations as we start practice, and I went to change the direction, and I tore my calf in 2 places. So it's been a fun transition this past week.
What are the challenges of overcoming that and also coaching your guys?
Sure. Obviously, you guys have seen how active I am in coaching and trying to be as physically present and hands-on as I can with those guys. So it's been great in my development as far as me understanding the words that I'm using and how they're being interpreted. And so it's really forcing me to make sure that since I can't physically do and demonstrate some of the drills, that they're understanding adequately exactly what I want out of them and how I want it done.
Michael and Troy?
Obviously you have an injury and you're in pain and whatnot, but I'm sure a lot of your colleagues are giving you grief. What are some of the things that they're saying?
Yeah, no, it's always just more fun and horseplay. And so I know as I go through, obviously Coach Gonzalez is telling everybody to clear out and getting a little siren action going to let everybody know I'm going through. But other than that, they've been extremely great. They've been extremely kind and wanting to be helpful. And obviously, once we all found out the severity of it, a lot of the coaches' wives reached out to my wife and asked if we need any help. That they're more than accommodating. So it's been really great to be a part of a staff that cares so much.
Troy and then David?
When we got to talk to Coach Davey, he talked about when you came in here, the tight end group, how you've kind of added a toughness there that maybe wasn't there before, but how have you seen that toughness progress from the beginning of camp to right now, just the mentality change in that room?
Yeah, obviously our slogan in the room is choose violence. And if you're not a violent individual, especially at the tight end position, whether it's blocking and or catching, you won't experience any success. And I think the biggest growth has been just the entirety of the room. In the spring, Cam Barmore was obviously transitioning and switching positions and had a lot of moving parts, and that created some issues in his processing and some of those things as he's never done it before. But as the game has slowed down, now you've actually seen some physicality a little bit in his game. He's not turning it down as much, and he's doing a nice job. And so they've done a great job and taking on that motto, and obviously Coach Carroll and his staff have done a great job over the summer getting us to this point and adding toughness to our room, and not only our room, the whole team.
David and then Jason?
When Seth was in here earlier in the season, she kind of just said that, he called you his right-hand guy, and that, he would stand up on a table to vouch for you. How would you describe your relationship with him and why you guys work so well?
My relationship with Seth is one that is just very authentic, very real. We are cut from the same cloth, and that's why we mesh so well. And we're to the point in our careers, because we've been together so long. A lot of times, I know what he wants before it's even said. And we work hard. We do it for the right reasons. We do it for the kids, and at the end of the day, we want to win games while doing it. And so we're very passionate about selflessness. We don't care who gets the credit. We just want to make sure that we win in those games. And because our values are such aligned, it's been easy to grow our friendship, not only on the field but off the field as well.
And is this offense going to be very similar to what you guys had last year at Marshall, or is it going to be differences because you guys are up a level?
There will be similarities for sure. Differences not necessarily because of the competition. Obviously, we played against Virginia Tech and Ohio State last year, and in the first half of the Ohio State game, we almost put up 250 yards in the first half against the national champs. So it's not necessarily about the competition. It's more about what our kids can and cannot do. Obviously, Noah is extremely different than the quarterback that we've had last year. The tight ends are different than some of the tight ends that we've had, and we're much more explosive in Coach Wade's room at receiver than we were at Marshall as well. So there's certainly some similarities, but the beauty of this offense is that it does allow the kids to be who they are and really showcase their talents and not pigeonhole them into just being a system fit.
Jason and then Justin.
How has Sam Wilson improved since the spring? What do you see from him in camp so far?
Yeah, I think from spring to now, Sam is probably the most meticulous of the group. He's very intentional with what he's doing. He understands his limitations as far as his size and his weight, and that he's not going to be the tallest and or biggest from the room, but with his intentionality, he's done a great job of understanding the leverage that he can get and how to play longer within his frame. And I think that you've seen that in some of those run situations. As a receiver, he's probably got the best feel of the room. He's a high football IQ guy, which allows him to play faster than what he really is and naturally navigate space and holes to find himself to be open more times than not. So I really am appreciative of Sam's hard work and effort, and I think he's grown immensely in the run game to give himself a chance.
Justin and Nathaniel.
From your perspective, college and NFL, how has the tight end position evolved?
Yeah, it's a unique position. We always talk about your specific question more so as it pertains to recruiting and what you look for in tight ends. We have basically two prerequisites from the position now is that you essentially can't be soft, number one. Like if you're soft, you can't play, or not tough. So if you're that, you can't play here at the University of Arizona, and you have to be athletic. And so those are our two prerequisites before anything else, just because you don't live in the day and age of your traditional why. Okay, well, what does that look like? I mean, Bill Walsh was arguably one of the greatest coaches to ever coach, and he can't do anything with a tall 2x4 that can't bend, right? Like he can't move either. So we value toughness and athleticism over anything, and then we will obviously look for other traits as far as what they put on film from there. But that's how we see it, and really the game playing in open spaces more times than not. You see all the top ends is you got to be able to do enough within the core, but really your versatility comes when you're able to get into multiple sets and use your skill sets for matchup situations.
Nathaniel and Troy.
Yeah, I think sometime in the spring you mentioned you wanted the guys to slot out a little bit more, and you're going to find out who would have that kind of skill set. Just wondering how they're developing in that specific area so far in fall camp, and if there's anybody that stands out to you.
Yeah, well, I think the two that naturally are the most successful at it currently are Kian and Cam, right? Cam was a receiver last year at a smaller school, and Kian, coming out of high school, basically was slotted out his whole life, right? And so those two are the most natural route runners of the room. They're pretty dynamic and getting in and out of their breaks. Sam and TP have grown a long ways. Sam is just kind of your spatial awareness, settle in zones, but he understands leverage really well as when to snap routes and to keep it high in certain situations. And I've been very proud of TP. TP's probably the least natural of the group, but you've seen him in situations in the previous days that he's been able to use his hands a little bit more consistent and allows him to capitalize on the length that he does have.
Troy and then Michael.
Kind of going with that kind of a pal talk there, just his progression from spring to this point as you guys get closer to the season.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's got the natural size and the ability in which you want. He's got great vertical speed, and now getting him tools to understand how to, reduce his shoulder to get out of a speed cut a little bit better, or giving him a different break, a 5-10-5 break, to allow him to transition a little bit better down him stem. I think there's a lot of things in TP's career early on that he just didn't know, and I don't know if he was given the tools to be successful to do that. And so, we're trying to meet him where he's at, and he's done a great job of growing. In the throw game, I know he catches over 150 balls a day on the jugs machine to try to make sure that he's improving in that skill set. And then obviously, as big as he is, he's done a great job of becoming a much higher contributor in the run game as well.
Michael and then David.
How would you assess the depth at the position right now, given that some of the guys that maybe you were counting on are banged up?
Yeah, sure. They are slightly banged up. I think the depth is fine. There's 3 guys that I think can play at a high enough level for us to win games at this conference, and I think that there's 4 that can play.
David and then Jason.
When you look at your group, how would you assess how they've blocked so far in camp?
Yeah, to me, blocking is a willingness, and so with that, their mentality is on point. They're not scared and they're not going to turn anything down. And realistically, camp and practice settings don't provide the reality of what it can be. We've run a lot of divide zones, and where you're going to take care of your teammates, right? And so it's going up against, Trey and some of those ends that the defense has. Those are a good matchup for our guys to have. But the moment Trey mess charges in again, guess what? You're going to get cut, right? And so obviously we take care of our teammates. We're not going to do that. But how do you slow down a guy that's trying to mess charge you? Well, I'm going to take his ACL, right? And so we're obviously not doing that against our teammates. We are able to practice those tools off to the side. So you got to give them a plethora of tools for them to be successful. And when they can, use a gorilla or when they can use a forklift, they've done a lot better job of their backside C's of trying to get vertical and not getting penetration in the line of scrimmage. So at least we're getting diagonal displacement to give the back enough room to roll it off our butt and to press it and get the needed yards.
I'll finish up with Justin.
So, Kian, coming back here, what was your role? When did you first hear about the possibility of getting him to come back to Arizona?
Yeah, so Kian coming back to Arizona, I think he officially got in that Monday. And so that's when our first conversation happened. My role in that was just to get him here as fast as possible. And I believe I was out on the road at that time recruiting for spring recruiting, and was in constant communication with him and Chester, his father, to get him here, and when it worked out within their timeline. But like I told some of you guys during the media day at the start, like that was a program decision, right? And I think it's a great situation of understanding how you come and go from a program and handle it the right way. There's opportunities for that potential to come back, and I think that's a testament to him and Coach B. They didn't bury that relationship, and there was no hard feelings. And we went to the captains of the team and asked them how they felt if there was a return. The other tight ends in the room knew there was a possibility as well once he got in, and how they felt. And in unison, everybody wanted him back, and it was a great fit. And obviously, systematically, he fits what we do, and we're really excited about him being here. But it was going to be up to the guys to determine whether or not they wanted him back, and they did. And then after then, it was full boards ahead and go attack and go get him.
Between his size and athleticism in Seth's offense, and Seth has a history of him recruiting him to USC, when he reaches that potential, what does that look like in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, he's ran a few routes to where, I didn't get to see it necessarily as close as I did up to this point in fall camp, right? And now I got to see it live, and you see some things on his PFF and previous games, and I'm like, okay, this kid's different, right? But what I've been most pleased with his opportunities was his mentality. And so really harnessing that and making sure he's doing everything as violently as he can. Like, he's going to block violently, he's going to run violently, he's going to drop his hips violently, he's going to attack the ball violently. There is nothing that he's going to do that is passive. And once he started buying into that, some of those battles that TP and him had against Trey and Dom and some of those DNs, those were potential NFL matchups, and those were really fun to watch in those couple of days that it happened. And I was really impressed with his ability to take coaching and transition as quick as he did, to get vertical on some of those steps and to get displacement.